family. Hope y'all are well. Got a story that I need to bring to you because it is about the beast head that is forming. We got to break down this news. Wanna give a shout out to Only Pamela's Way for sending this story to me. She sent me some really good stories that I'm working on. But this takes me a little time to read it and digest it and figure out how I'm going to present it to you. So I got some good stuff that we need to know about. It's tied to end time prophecy. It's tied to this world government that's forming. And I want to, demonstrate to you how the head is playing sly and coy while also telegraphing to the powers that be what time it is, what they're supposed to do. They're all in cahoots. They all have a role, and they all have marching orders. So I wanted to share this with you because it's really important. Ties into a couple of other stories that I'm getting ready to bring you. I want to give a disclaimer. This thing has a cookie policy. So this big old banner down here at the bottom, it says, by closing this banner, you consent to use of cookies. I'm not consenting to use of cookies. So we all going to be just looking at this big old banner at the bottom. All righty. All righty. Let's get into this story. So Cardinal Parolin, current crises demand global and fraternal responses. Excuse me. So the Cardinal Secretary of State inaugurates a 2-day Centesimus Annus Foundation meeting as it marks its 30th anniversary with a focus on a culture of encounter and the need to give voice to all for the common good. Now, first of all, don't that sound like nothing? Just a bunch of flowery words. Why you couldn't say that no better? That's how you know people be trying to BS you. It's like, you know, you go buy a new car, you buy a house, or even if you give consent to use something free on the internet, you know how they give you this long old contract of things that you got to adhere to. You don't have time to read that. You don't understand what all that stuff means, but you do know that you're getting screwed some kind of way because you wouldn't need that many words to talk to somebody if you wasn't about to get screwed. So just from a federal grant writer and reviewer perspective, like um I know how to do flowery words, which I don't do. I hate reading fluff and flowery words. So when I see them, they immediately let me know it's some BS afoot and I need to pay attention. Like that's the way that I look at everything. Just especially dealing with government, and you can, think of the Vatican as a religious institution, but it's government. Like this is an extension of Rome, the Roman Empire. It yet lives on, and this is how they operate now. So we have to look at what they say, not only from a religious perspective as recovering Christians, but also if you're Yashar'el, you're a recovering Christian, but also from a governance structure standpoint, because what they say is also uh, a part of governance. And so when you hear this language of common good is nothing more than nice fluff for the new world order that's coming. Um, and that's the best way to describe it. There's nothing, we don't have no common good because the people that's saying common good have basically robbed, stolen, and killed everything that wasn't nailed down. And we know that they don't know what good is because they don't operate, their whole scheme isn't good. So you shouldn't expect anything good. These people have been crafting this common good message and this coexist equality message for a long time. And I wrote about it before they shut my page down on Medium. And I'm going to pull up some of those old articles and show you. But they are responsible for the coexist and the common good language that we see and hear about today. And it's nothing more than predictive programming. So just, you know, keep that in the forefront of your minds when you go through this article with me, but also when you see it from now on, when you see these coexist symbols and rainbows and all this stuff comes from these people. And you got to understand, you know, anything that the Most High wants for us, anything that He designated to us, they have to corrupt it. They have to turn it around and go against Him and make it the opposite of what it's supposed to be. So there's supposed to be no common good. Um, and you know, you talk about give voice to all. Everybody shouldn't have no voice. Some people speaking for the devil. They're speaking for the adversary. So let us not get caught up in this flowery language that these people will be using and that they have used to fool a lot of us, especially, um, Black people, African American Black people, and people who have low self esteem and want to fit in and want to belong and think that God likes everybody and everything is fair. That's not true. If you read your Bible for yourself, you'll know everybody ain't equal. God don't like everybody. He love us, but he don't like everybody. He does not treat us all the same. So we need to keep that in mind. In a world dominated by uncertainty, which seeks refuge by withdrawing into the sphere of the private and thus paying no attention to others, more than ever we must make an effort to read and respond to the signs of the times, said Cardinal Pietro Parolin, noting that the temptation to withdraw is a risk that even politicians may run. Just find this interesting. I'll blow it up a little bit. Okay. So it says they too, he added, can be driven to focus on circumscribed private interest rather than on an effort geared towards the vision of a broad common good. Not to do so leads to approaches that are not inspired by subsidiarity. That is, by concern for those far away, as generally happens in those decisions defined as global, he said. So you see how they gradually start pulling you in after they gave you all the fluff and talking around circles, all the flowery language. Here we go. And yet, Parolin continued, there are two factors that can point towards greater cohesion and integration, on which the Pope insists a great deal: social friendship and the culture of encounter. See, they're introducing new words, getting us ready for the smart city, getting us ready for the lockdowns and whatever they're getting ready to institute whenever things collapse. Generic appeals for peace are not enough. Cardinal Pietro Parolin centered his speech at the opening of the two-day meeting organized by the Centesimus Annus Pro Pontificis Tifis, I don't know how to say that, Pontifex Foundation for the 30th anniversary of its foundation on these two values that are dear to Pope Francis. Addressing participants at the meeting before a papal audience in the Vatican's Clementine Hall, the Secretary of State focused on the term community is part of the title of the meeting, Memory to Build the Future, thinking and acting in terms of community. By now, it is clear to everyone, he observed, By now, it is clear to everyone that the problems, the search for solutions, and the expectations of many of our brothers and sisters have a global dimension and call for equally global responses. And so, he continued, in order to work together for the good of the community, generic calls for peace and economic growth or respect for the environment are not enough. The two values. The notion of the common good must be understood and perhaps included, Cardinal Parlin indicated, in order to avoid policies or activities that promote particular solutions. So you understand what they're saying here. So it says, in order to avoid policies or activities that promote particular solutions, since these can create exclusion or prove lost opportunities for everyone. So, here we getting this one. Everybody got to do the same thing. Everybody got to have the same thing. We're getting ready to go to this socialism system, getting ready to go to this one world order. They don't want you to have policies or activities because they want to do everything by the fly, on the fly, and they want you to trust them. So, they're going to make it so bad that people are going to be looking for help. And when they go to reach for the help, they're going to be in trouble. So I want to talk about this so that we can understand this language that they're using. It's slick, it's sly, it's coy, it sounds real nice and not that harmful. But as Black people, these are the very same people who, took away our ancestors' children and slaughtered them, killed them for failing to convert from being Hebrews to Christianity or Catholicism. All the things that they did, they supported slavery. They killed indigenous people all over the globe. So anytime these people talking about common good, baby, you should be fleeing because they don't know what common good is. They don't have common decency. They don't respect common good. They don't respect mankind. They don't respect the Most High. So you cannot trust what they say. Their reputations precede them. So, you know, this leopard ain't changing its spots. This leopard is painting on something else, trying to be something else that is not. But we know, as Yashar'el, or at least I hope we know, I hope we remember and understand who they are, and never let us forget what they've done to our people. So we must resist anything they push forward to us for to be included, or all this thing for everyone. We've been doing that, everyone, and inclusion and integration for decades now, and we still the poorest. We still don't have nothing, and if they didn't help you back then to now, they ain't gonna help you no better whenever they get to institute their final plans for this final world government. So just keep that in mind. So they're talking about the social friendship and the culture of encounter offer a useful point of view to achieve a concrete common good, because both are the hallmarks of an open and future oriented society. They ain't saying nothing. This just fluff, 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 fluff. Social friendship, because he explains, it is by nature inclusive and helps to plan activities that are inclusive and not limited to one's own community or native country. So here they go. Nice way of saying we finna have global stuff. You ain't gonna be able to travel. Because the world gonna belong to everybody. Everybody, there's not gonna be any boundaries, no territories, no states, no nations. We're going to have one world. You're going to have one world government. You're going to have one everything. Our culture of encounter, because far from stimulating sporadic acts of charity that delude one into believing they eliminate discrimination, is instead a way of life that knows how to truly respect the dignity and freedom of all. So there you go again, talking about the all, the all, the all. Inclusion, eliminate discrimination. The people who created discrimination are talking about eliminating discrimination. No, they just reinvented discrimination and they're getting ready to implement the new discrimination. So it's just interesting how they use these words. But if you understand history, you know the word, you know these people's reputation, you got to know what's coming. But it's just interesting reading it. So I wanted to go over it with y'all. The fulfillment of all. There we go. All one. United. We are one. If in John Paul II's Centesimus Annus, published in 91, the magisterium attributed great significance to values such as democracy and freedom at that moment in history. Today, Cardinal Parlin noted, the current scenario finds an echo in the reflection developed by Pope Francis in Fratelli Tutti, in which he asserts that words such as democracy, freedom, justice, or unity have been bent and shaped to serve as tools for domination, as meaningless tags that can be used to justify any action. So here they are basically saying we're getting ready to redefine what we really want, because we've used those words up. We're not going to be able to say democracy and freedom anymore because we're getting ready to enslave the whole world. You're not going to have free choice, so there's not going to be democracy. And the flagship for democracy, which is which is supposed to be America, is a failed state now. It didn't work. It's getting ready to go down. This melting pot never melted together, and we have more discrimination than ever. So there is no unity. So they must create new buzzwords and keywords to get everybody all on board to go along with the next scheme they got. I'm just saying. The weakening of the complex of values with which today's political or economic decision makers must measure themselves against requires careful discernment in order to safeguard general interest. So, general interest, everybody's interest. You're not going to have a black interest. There's not going to be an Asian interest. There's not going to be the interest of regular common folks. The only interest that will matter are the people who are going to be overseeing us or ruling over us. In essence, the cardinal concludes, it is a question of responsibility that directs decisions and resources towards the full realization of all human beings, their growth, and their aspirations based on their dignity and identity. So, this came out on June the 5th, 2023. Y'all know this is some BS, right? I just want to say it. But this is something that nobody's really talking about. Thanks to only Pamela's Way for sharing it. And these are the types of conversations we really need to be having, because these are the people who rule the world. This person is basically telegraphing what's coming next. He's giving you all the buzzwords, so when you start seeing them, you be like, oh yeah, I already know what that is, so I know to watch out for it. Ain't nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new coming from these people. There's nothing good coming for us, especially us. And so we must be on guard, because we know they're going to be targeting us. We know everything on this earth is all about us and to harm us. So let us not get caught up in all these new schemes that are coming out. Continue to guard your heart, continue to guard your mind, continue to guard and protect your spirit and your souls, because they're getting ready to amp up what they're doing, and you can see it now. All these fires that have been detonated in Canada, the smoke in the air, the sky, the stuff that they're putting in the sky to make us crazy, just all the things that are coming, the disruptions, the chaos, the poverty, the stress, the strife. it's by design. So it's only going to get worse. We live in a fallen world, and we must prepare. We got to stay at our word. We got to hang with like-minded people, talk to like-minded individuals, make sure that, we continue preparing um, physically and spiritually, getting what you need in your home while the prices are still artificially low, still rising, but things are still affordable. Prepare for internet outages, power outages, because they got to get us in order. And you better believe they're going to bring chaos before they bring back that order. But when they bring back that order, we may not be able to participate because we're sealed, or we should be sealed. And, let us participate until we cannot. But there are some things that we're not going to be able to participate in whenever they set up this new system. And so you need to be preparing for that. You need to be preparing to rough it. You need to be preparing to live without, do without. You need to be prepared to do things the old way. And it is what it is. Those who are prepared are going to fare a lot better than the ones who are not. So I will put a link to this story in the description. Please like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Also hit the bell notification so that you can get the new videos when I post them. I will be doing something with Watchman Nehemiah this weekend, and it is going to be about what's coming from the sky. And I'll just leave it at that. Probably not going to put it on YouTube because they're going to probably shadow ban it, like they shadow ban most of my stuff. But I'm still going to do it because as long as we got these platforms, we must use them for good and not evil. So I'm going to spend my time trying to educate my people and wake us up and, keep us on guard for what's coming and try to interpret some of this nonsense that they got coming out. We got to do our parts, y'all. We can't lay down, can't die, can't go to sleep, can't stick our heads in a hole. Let us continue to cry out, seek the Most High, ask for forgiveness daily, and repent for our sins of commission and sins of omission, and try to wake our brothers and sisters up as much as we can. But don't stress about it because it's already been prophesied. A lot of us are not going to make it, and a lot of us are going to be deceived. So focus on not being deceived. Do what you can and control what you can, but try to wake some people up along the way. All right, y'all. This is Marla K. Love y'all, and I'm out.